Welcome to this next video all about soups. And with soups, it's a bit like a smoothie. So you put some veg in a blender and you blend it all up and you've got a soup which is raw. And that's the way I see soups and smoothies. So the two soups that are my go-to soups, and there's reasons why I go to these soups, which is a carrot and herb or carrot and coriander soup. So in Judy's book, she's got a carrot and herb soup, which is in page 58. And the other soup is a beetroot soup. Now, going into this cancer process, I learned that about the Gerson therapy, and they have an abundance of carrot juice that is juiced. And then in addition to that, there's a lot of nutritional benefits of beetroot as well. And one of the fundamental principles I learned very early on going through the Hippocrates route is that you eat your roots and your fruits, but you juice your greens. So it's kind of like contradicting and the reason for that is because there's quite a lot of sugar load in carrots and roots. So it makes sense to eat it. So where I'm sitting right now is that my go-to soups or smoothies are carrot and herb, or carrot and coriander, and beetroot. So in this particular video, I'm going to make the carrot and coriander soup. So in the recipe, it calls for 4 carrots that have been chopped, and I've just chucked them into the blender. And this is another essential kitchen piece of equipment that I forgot to introduce before, which is a salad spinner. And when Fiona's father kindly gave this to us, I was so excited because it brought back memories of my mum washing iceberg lettuce in one of these. So it calls for 4 handfuls of herbs, which is one. It's the whole lot basically come in there. Chuck it in. And it asks for just a Brazil nut size of ginger, so I just chuck that in. In addition to that, you can add lemon to taste. Obviously half a lemon, it all determined is how big your lemon is. So I've just chucked a lemon in, but I feel that it probably needs a bit more lemon, given the volume of produce in there. But you know, I could always add to it, so I could always add a bit more lemon juice if I wanted to. In addition to that, it's asking for 2 cups of water, which I've pre-measured here just to make this quicker. And in addition to that, it's asking for just a splash of tamari. And this adds a bit of the saltiness to it. Now, if you're not adverse to having a bit of salt, then you can add a bit of salt in there to add a bit of flavouring. But in the Hippocrates anti-cancer lifestyle, all of the salt and the sodium comes from the plants and the vegetables and the sea veg in particular. But you can use this to add a bit of saltiness. So I'll go with this, a bit of a splash because I know I like it. And then the final thing is to add the avocado. Now in this particular instance, I'm going to add the avocado in a little bit once we've got the ingredients being blended up there. So now I've stopped the blending process and I'm going to add the avocado, which it says you can add up to 1 or 2 avocados. So I had a particularly big avocado in this instance, so I'm just going to add just the 1. And what the avocado does, it adds sort of the creaminess, the smoothiness into the actual soup. So now that's quite thick, so you can add a bit of water and just blend it up again, and that just to make it a bit smoother, or if you like a nice big thick creamy soup, you can. Now, one of the other things, the temperature of this, because I've just blended that about 15-20 seconds the first time, and I've just blended that for about 30 seconds on the higher setting, and you can already feel the temperature rising in there. So what we don't want to do is oxidize the vegetables too much and put too much heat through it to, to start effectively cooking them. So one of the other options is, once you've blended it, you can actually add it to a pan and you can heat it, but just finger heat it. So you don't want to heat it any more than, say, 43 degrees. So at least on a cold winter's day, you can have a warm raw soup. So these are all little lessons I learned along my way, and you're thinking, well, it's still okay to do that. So I'm going to taste this now and just see if I need to add anything. I'm going to put a bit more water in that because it's quite thick, probably because I had quite a big avocado and I put that in. So I'm going to add a bit more water and do a bit more blending, and then that's pretty much ready to go. One other thing I like to do with my soups is add some unpasteurized miso. So this is an add to if you wanted to, it's something you can do. And for that amount of soup, which is about 2 portions, I just put sort of a teaspoon of miso in there, because again it adds a bit more saltiness and it adds a bit more depth to it if we're used to lots of flavorings in our Western world diet. So we just give that one more blend. It's a bit looser. That tastes a lot better with the miso in my opinion. So there's the soup that's finished, which is just a carrot and the coriander, and I've put a few mung bean sprouts on there. And I've just sprinkled some mixed seaweed on there as well. But to me, now, that tastes great. If you asked me about 2 years ago what that would taste like, or what that might feel like to look at, you're thinking, not sure about that. But for me, I feel that I'm doing the right thing for my body. And it's a great lunch. Now, the other thing I will do is I'll have the soup, and I'll also add a sort of mixed sprout salad as well next to it. And then, in terms of the nutrition I'm getting for lunch, or the nutrition I'm getting at the end of the day for dinner, it's more than enough to keep this body fueled, giving it the tools it needs to rebuild itself.